let's talk about the NBA's Central Division, a 2025 NBA Draft recap. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and Peter does belong on pineapple. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. All right, another trip around the NBA. The fourth division I'm recording might not be the fourth that you see in terms of draft recaps. Yes, things have happened in free agency, and I'm recording this on the opening day of free agency. There's weird stuff happening. Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, Michael Porter Jr., Cam Johnson. There's a bunch of stuff happening. There'll be a show that you've already seen. I'm just giving you the lay of the land of where my brain is scrambled to. We're talking about the Central Division in the NBA draft recap. I love that you're here. It's great that you guys are here. I want everyone always to be watching this show and a part of things, but I'll be honest with you right now. Not a lot going on in this division. Not a lot happening in terms of the draft. Pretty poor, pretty boring stuff. Always talk about it, of course, but not a lot going on. So this is one maybe you play it at a fight. No, don't. Play it a million times. Play it a million times to show how much you love boring. Let's talk about the first team here. It's my team. It's not. It used to be, but they're not my team anymore. They're the Chicago Bulls because they are putrid. And they have been putrid for a long time, and their entire organization smells like a sweaty ass crack majority of the time because the owner is dreadful. The general manager is dreadful. The front office is dreadful. It's all bad. But I gave them a B for their draft haul. I like them picking Noah Essengay at pick 12. Now, Essengay is going to be incredibly raw. He is going to be... No, I don't think we'll see much of him, honestly, in year one. I don't know whether he gets G League time, and the Bulls have been a team that had 35,000 guards and no forwards, and now they have got some forwards. You've got Buzelis there, you've got whatever it is that Pat Williams is, and now you bring in Essengay. Now, he is incredibly young. He doesn't turn 19 until December. So he's going to start this season as an 18-year-old. He got to the line a million times playing for Ratio Farm. The shooting, yeah, that's not very good. He's got some passing skill, some defensive skill. His driving is really strong. I think that in time, Buzelis and Essengay will form a really good 3-4 combo. Yeah, with Buzelis being able to play at the 5 at times. Will Essengay ever be able to be like a 28 usage guy? I don't think so. I think there will be moments, though, where he can push it to a 22 or 23 as a third offensive option. We've got to get the shooting there, though, but that ability to draw fouls at the age of 18 in a professional league is unbelievable. Like, that is something where you should go, oh, that's interesting. A player, very different players. Very different players. Just don't get confused here. A player who had incredibly high free throw drawing skills when undrafted and is now a really good player is Austin Reeves. That stuff can translate pretty well. I'm not saying that it will. And there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be worked on with Essengay. But I do like him. It is just going to take a lot of time. They've still got Josh Giddey. They brought in Isaac Okoro. They brought back Trey Jones. Kobe White is still there at the time of me recording this. There's still a lot of stuff that could happen. And Essengay is just not going to play minutes. Julian Phillips is going to be in that mix too. It's one for down the line. But I do like them making that selection. They picked an Australian at pick 45 and they traded him away. I would have preferred they kept Rocco Zikarsky because I think he's got a lot of upside. Nothing against old mate Lockie Ulbrich, who went at pick 55. He's already going to be placed on a two-way. He's got some shooting concerns. I believe Ulbrich played in the States in college for a bit and then came back to the NBL. I think he's only 21. I don't know that he's an NBA player necessarily, but we'll see. The Bulls last season just never used their G League players at all. Shout out if you can name their G League guys. Off the top of my head, Emmanuel Miller was one of them. Yeah, that's a real person. God, who were the other ones? Who were their other two-way contracts last season? They played like about 4 minutes combined. I honestly can't remember. I'm going to look it up because I just can't remember. Oh, they had Jameer Young. They had Adama Sanogo at one point as well. And EJ Liddell even. Like, it just... nobody's. Anyway, Lachlan Ulbrich picked a 55 on a two-way. I don't think he's going to play. They got Caleb Grill, the barbecue, on an Exhibit 10, and Wooga Poplar, one of the better names in the draft process. I think Wooga had he could have been drafted the year before. Came back. He's fine. But these guys, I don't think they're going to make much of a difference. I think Grill is solid. I had him on my big board. Ulbrich I did as well in that second round range. They're fine picks. I like the SNG pick. I think everything they did was fine. It's not going to be groundbreaking. It's not going to destroy other teams' hopes and dreams or anything like that. It's the Bulls, for God's sake. But overall, I think that they did very well there, getting a B from me, which I'm sure they care about the most of anything in the world. Let's take a look at Cleveland, which is possibly the most boring draft class in the league. Maybe the not the Clippers. The Knicks was pretty bad, actually. Another Aussie in this division with Tyrese Proctor going at pick 49 to the Cavs. Salio Niang, who was someone who was a bit of not a late riser, because that's not really how it works, but I didn't have him on my initial draft board. I had to put him on in the last week or so before the draft, and good thing I did, because he got drafted. Pick 58 to Salio Niang. He is a wing player, played over in Italy last season. I would be very surprised. I don't know that we've heard any information on this, or I don't think I have at this point. You might have heard now. I doubt that he's coming over and going to have any sort of impact this season, but Niang played 20 minutes a night for Trento in the Italian league. He averaged 8 points a game. He shot 31% on threes, but on incredibly small attempts. The steal rate is fine with him. Like, he's a wing who, like, is a defense first sort of a wing. I don't think there's anything interesting there. And then Chaney Johnson and old mate Norchad Omier on the Exhibit 10s. Like, I give them a C overall because the Proctor pick is good. I like Tyrese Proctor. They've traded for Lonzo Ball, obviously. They've got Craig Porter, but they did lose Ty Jerome in free agency. There will be a free agency show that you've already seen, so I don't need to go into those details here. Proctor is someone that I thought had a chance in previous years to push a little bit higher in the draft process. He didn't. I think he's a capable player who shot really well from three across his NCAA career. His last season, he shot 41% from three. He played 30 minutes a night on that Duke team. The assist numbers aren't particularly high, and they dropped when Cooper Flagg arrived and Concanipa was there. He took a bit of a backseat, but I think it is possible to see Proctor, who's now 21, being a third-string point guard, maybe a backup point guard at best. And when you're dealing with picks this low, I think Cleveland did okay to get something out of it, and I think that's where Proctor is. Something out of it useful. It's not bad. It's not great. It's fine, which is literally going to be the discussion about the entirety of this division. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing. Summer is in full swing. And it might be baseball that you're into, it might be golf, it might be the WNBA, might be NASCAR, might be soccer, whatever it is. FanDuel is the best way to get in on that action. You're following along with all these sports all the time, and you've got knowledge about them, I'm sure. So you can put that knowledge to the test. You can do that same game parlays. You can do it with money lines and spreads and totals and futures and all of that across all these sports. Plus future bets on the NBA, on the NFL, on baseball and World Series and all that sort of stuff is available on FanDuel. It's an easy way to track your matchups. They've got daily promotions that are new every day, which you can use and take advantage of. And when you're playing those same game parlays, it gives you a way to boost your odds to get a big payout if you're able to hit on it. If you are new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Okay. We are, of course, here talking about the Central Division in the NBA, the NBA draft recap. Not really touching on free agency because it's sort of happening as I'm recording this, as we do it in advance. This is recorded July the 1st. I'm currently away, so therefore not recording anything live. Let's go to the Detroit Pistons, and this team, I believe, had the highest, outside of Chicago, the highest pick of any other team, and it was pick 37. So honestly, did we have one first-round pick in this division? Oh my God, we did. The Detroit Pistons, at pick 37, they picked Chaz Lanier. Now, I don't know whether the Pistons had advanced warning about Malik Beasley and his gambling habits. I'm not sure about that. And even at the time of me recording this, I don't know if Beasley's going to be okay to play, if he's going to sign in Detroit. I got no idea. I like Lanier. He is a little bit older of a prospect. He's 23, but he is just a huge volume shooter. And we saw the success of having volume shooters around Cade Cunningham and how good it was. Tim Hardaway didn't shoot well, but he shot them. Malik Beasley did shoot well, and he did shoot a lot of them. Having those guys around, and like they've missed a couple of their free agent targets already, Detroit. He's 6'5". He is a senior, but he hit 40% on his threes and made almost 4 per game per 36 minutes. He doesn't do a huge amount else, Lanier, but I think for what Detroit needed to do, him at that spot, he could have easily gone 6-7 spots higher. He could have snuck into the first round, Lanier. He is a player that I think can have a sizable NBA career as a solid shooting guard who's not disgraceful defensively and has got some size. And they're drafting like what could have easily been considered the best player available at that spot, and also a guy that fits their team really well. So I do like what they did there. I give them an A- just because that was their only pick. They haven't signed any two-way guys, any Exhibit 10 guys. So Lanier at that spot, W. Now, of course, when you compare that to other drafts, the quality of the class is not very big. And I get that. But you understand, I think by now, the way that I do these draft classes and this draft class grade. You had pick 37, you now pick 37, good for you. Like, you couldn't ask for anything more. The fit is great. I like the player. I think there's value in the pick. What more could you do? It's not about the volume of players. It's not about the overall quality of the players compared. Like, because obviously Cooper Flagg would get an A+, and Chaz Lanier would get a D. But that's not what we're about. The other guys on their team, I do like Bryce Williams from Nebraska. I thought there was a chance that he could have been a draftable guy or even gotten a two-way, and he still may get a two-way. Bryce Williams and these other players here have signed onto the Summer League team for the Pistons. Dawson Garcia, Zakai Ziegler, great name, and TJ Madlock, also a great name. Not sure these guys are going to mean anything, but Williams would be the one that I would pay just a small amount of attention to. I think that he could, again, work his way into a two-way. There was a possibility that Bryce could have been drafted. Of course, he wasn't, and he is just on this Summer League team. He's a 6'7" wing, Bryce Johnson, who shot 37% on threes last season, 39 the year before that, 40 the year before that, transferred from Charlotte, had 2 years at Nebraska. He is old, as a lot of players in this draft are, but like some really solid shooting numbers, which is interesting. And yeah, again, just grabbing someone in, I think that there is a small, again, it is a small chance, but there is a small chance that something good comes of it. Let's now talk about another team in this Central Division, because that would make a lot of sense when we're talking about the Central Division. This Indiana Pacers team is interesting to deal with, obviously. They had pick 23. They traded it to the Pelicans to get their own first-round pick back for the following season. Then the Tyrese Halliburton injury happened, so they protected themselves in advance. Now, did they know that there was a risk that Tyrese Halliburton was going to pop his Achilles? I mean, yes. They obviously did, because he had a strained calf, and that is a very big precursor to torn Achilles. Did they trade for that pick back with Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver, understanding that there was a bad worst-case scenario that Halliburton wouldn't be there? I'm not going to rule that out. I think that is entirely possible. They said, all right, we've got pick 23 here. We could trade it, and maybe it's 27 next season. Or what if the absolute worst comes in and we try and insulate ourselves from worst-case scenario of Halliburton pinging that Achilles, and then we save ourselves a little bit? That would be, it's morbid to think that way, but it would be incredibly smart GMing and front office work, taking advantage of the dumbest front office in the NBA, and also insuring yourself against something you desperately hope doesn't happen when the downside risk of it is low and the upside risk of it happening, which is actually what happening. I said the upside risk. You obviously don't want Halliburton hurt, but the upside risk of that pick coming towards you is huge. So I don't know this for sure, and I don't know if it'll ever come out, but I think it's WGMing to take advantage of a terrible front office. Understanding to minimize your downside risk. Huge. And then I love what they did in round 2. They were able to trade for pick number 38, and they drafted Cam Jones. Now, some of you may not know Cam Jones. He is one of these guys that I like, this sort of a player in general. He played at Marquette. He's an older prospect, so I'm not always a guy that loves older prospects. I think you know that part about me as well. But he's a combo guard. He's like 6'4". He's 23 years of age. He averaged really strong numbers. But what he did is he was like, all right, what do you need? This season, I'll become the point guard. He wasn't a point guard in the past, but he averaged over 6 assists per 36 minutes. He said, all right, I'll do that. I'll sacrifice my shooting numbers. I'll sacrifice the role that I've been playing, more of an off-ball guy, to be the point guard. And he did it. And the Pacers like this sort of a guy that can move between the 1 and the 2. A guy that can handle the ball, the guy that can play off-ball. I think those shooting numbers are fine. He shot 31%. No, let me rephrase. They're not fine. They're horrific. I think he's a fine shooter. I think he'll be okay when he's not put into this role, which you'll never have, a 29 usage role. But having someone like that, like they got Ben Shepherd, obviously, who's not really someone that can transition to that role. Ben Mathurin, neither, but Nembhard can. And just having another one of these guys, these rotatable, changeable guard-type players, and Jones's ability to transition into different roles, scale up, scale down, shooter, passer, do all of the stuff he needs to do on ball, off ball, I think he's great. I had Jones hovering around the edge of the first round. That's where he went. I like the pick. It makes a lot of sense on this team with Rick Carlisle, and I think he'd be able to play off Tyrese Halliburton when Halliburton returns. I don't know that it works out, but like again, you're talking about Ben Shepherd and these sort of players there where there is a chance that Jones ends up a better player than that. He might not, but there is a chance he ends up there. So taking that flyer on him, I do really like that. And I think that is the perfect sort of player for old mate, what do you call them? The Indiana Pacers. I like it. All right, now this is one of I gave them a B+, by the way. I haven't mentioned what I gave them, B+. I did not have any, I wrote pick 55, it was actually pick 54. The Pacers selected Talon Peter. I'd never heard of this man. No, I had no idea who he was. Congratulations to him, though, because he got drafted. He was a bench player for Liberty. He's a 6'4", 23-year-old senior. Talon Peter. His numbers are insane. He shot 45% on threes on almost 8 attempts per 36. He shot 58% from the field overall. He had a true shooting of 72 as a 6'4" guard coming off the bench for Liberty. What? That efficiency is actually unheard of. He doesn't do a huge amount else. His steal rate is fine. His scoring numbers are solid. His assist to turnover is pretty good. Again, do the Pacers like these sort of efficient guards, these 6'4" guards? Sure. His rebound rate for that size is good. He probably is nothing. He's probably nothing. But I'd never heard of this guy. And I'm intrigued. Because that efficiency is like, wow, what are these numbers? And if there's anything in that, I don't think there will be. But if there is, it's somewhere interesting to go. They signed 3 Exhibit 10 guys. RJ Felton is unfortunately not Raymond Felton's son, but he is his cousin. There you go. Fat Face Ray, cousin. Felton was a good shooter for East Carolina. And then they got Stephen Ashworth and Samson Johnson on Exhibit 10s. I gave them overall a B+. I liked what the Pacers did. The Talon Peter one, who bloody knows, man? We'll see. Cam Jones, I really like a lot. And the Exhibit 10 guys, whatever. We'll see how that ends up playing out. Now we get on to the Milwaukee Bucks. And their team has been, I won't say thrown into chaos, because it was always likely. Well, it's thrown into chaos due to the Damian Lillard injury. Free agency is weird. They're going to have, their number 1 and number 2 usage guys, with the things the way they currently stand for me at the moment. Again, apologies if this doesn't make sense long term because other stuff has happened. It's going to be Bobby Portis and Kevin Porter Jr., which is just disgusting. It's going to be so shocking. They don't have any rim protection apart from Giannis. They don't have anything. It's going to be bad at the time of me recording this. And they didn't have a first-round pick. And it's Glenn Rivers. And he wouldn't play rookies anyway. I liked Bogoljub Markovic. I thought that he was an interesting upside bet play. He's a 6'11" power forward / center who can pass, who can rebound pretty well, who can shoot a little bit, like that stereotypical European big man, but he adds in passing skills. Good from the free throw line, 39% on threes, 55 overall. He's not yet 20, he's about to turn 20. He had 22 usage playing for Mega. That is a really interesting guy, along with what they did with Tyler Smith, picking him last season. Great, love that front office work. You just never see these guys play. Now, maybe they have to this season because who knows? Something crazy may have happened with Giannis right now as I'm talking. I've got no idea. But I do know that Brook Lopez isn't there. And this team is incredibly old. Markovic, I don't mind the pick. I think it's a pretty strong pick to get Bogoljub, right? Bogey can develop into something good. Like Nikola Jovic, he's a bit bigger than him. I think he's a better shooter than Jovic, maybe not quite as good of a ball handler. But overall, we're still a little bit away from any sort of impact happening here. Overall, I do give the Bucks a B- as Obi loses his mind for whatever reason. It's hard to sort of fully understand the Bucks and the front office and how Glenn is going to use these guys. They signed Mark Sears from Alabama to be a two-way contract player. Sears is someone that could have possibly come out last season. Their point guard depth at the moment, again, I don't know where this is going to go, but it's Porter, it's Rollins, it's Sears, I guess. He's very undersized, 6'1", but someone who is incredibly decorated in terms of skills. He shot 44% from 3 last season, dropped to 35 this season. His numbers did decline. So I thought he should have come out after the 23-24 season, but his numbers all dropped. He's obviously a year older now, but you get that NIL money. his efficiency fell away, and I think that's part of the reason why he didn't get drafted. I still think that he can be a useful player. He's a solid enough passer with some shooting ability, Mark Sears, but it's just, again, it's the Bucks. It's a two-way guy. They're never going to play. Summer League guys, they got Terrence Edwards Jr., Wade Taylor IV, and David Joplin. Good collection of names. Not sure about them as basketball players, but a good collection of names nonetheless. And that is the incredibly boring Central Division. 1 first-round pick, and that's Noah Essengay. A bunch of teams that are sort of weird and won't play rookie. It's a very, very weird division. I've got 2 more divisions to do. I shouldn't even say that because I know that I've recorded some and then posted them out of order, so my bad. But anyway, you have them all done really soon. I hope free agency is going well for your team. I hope that you've enjoyed everything that's going on this offseason and summer leagues coming up. I don't even know why I'm waffling with this. But guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.